Hey guys, welcome to another quick video. Gonna quickly explain the difference between majors and minors of FX. Now, from my experience in FX, I've met many people, hundreds of people that are trading and often losing, and they've rushed the steps, but do not even know the difference between majors and minors, because this stuff here is gonna help you choose your currency pair based on your personality and also what you can actually expect for movement from the pairs, because it's quite actually interesting. So for anybody that's downloaded MetaTrader, which I'll put in the video above, once you go into MetaTrader, it looks a little bit like this. And then you're gonna have a lot of pairs flickering up and down. And many people don't really understand what that means. So let's quickly explain it to you. So majors all have the US dollar in it. Why is that? Because long story cut short, back in the day, the US dollar held the world's most amount of gold. So this became the world's default currency and still is right now. So Euro USD, GBP USD, USD CAD, Australian dollar US dollar, USD JPY, USD Swiss, and NZD USD. Euro USD is the world's most popular traded currency pair. Now, many people think that's a great thing, but for me, this pair often goes sideways quite a lot, and it actually makes up for 30% of the market's movement as Euro USD. So really popular pair. It's up to you if you guys want to trade it. But me personally, I like some of the other pairs, which I'm going to explain why in a minute. So Euro USD there. Now, GBP USD, let's quickly show you what the difference between these two pairs is, because a lot of people, when they get into FX, they're thinking they're just buying pound or they're just selling the Euro USD. But it's always one pair versus the other. So for example, when you see GBP USD, the first pair will always be one. So £1 is worth, if you were to exchange it for 1.2876 US dollars, which is not much right now. But back in the day, this was 1 to 2. And so, 1 to 2, now it's 1 to 1.2. So all these pairs is always one on the left versus the one on the right. Dead simple. Now, what are minors? So back in the day, when minors didn't exist, for example, to trade GBP versus the JPY, you'd have to obviously trade this first and then try and trade USD JPY. So it took a bit of a while, but then the more liquidity started to pop into the markets, then minors pair came around. So minor pairs, I put the most popular ones on here, but there are a lot of more minor pairs. Now minor pairs, for example, GBP, JPY, they do not have the US dollar in them. So all of these, no US dollar. GBP, JPY, Australian dollar. Euro, JPY. So these pairs, one thing you must understand if you're going to trade these, because there's pros and cons of both. Now, for people that might be trying to trade more intraday, a lot of these will stay within the short period of movement every day. There's a lot more movement going on over here, simply due to the amount of liquidity pumping buys and sells. Kind of traps these pairs that often go sideways, and these kind of flow with a little bit more liquidity and movement, which sometimes can be good and bad. But one of the must things you must know is the spreads. So with a spread, for example, let's say Euro USD, the spread can be anywhere from, let's say, 1 pip, and I'll say maximum, it could be 3 pips. Now, if you look at a pair, for example, let's say NZD CAD, this will be anywhere from, let's say, 3 pips, and it can go up to, let's say, 5 pips. Now, this all depends on your broker. But for anybody that has a hard time understanding where the spreads come from and all that stuff, going back to this thing right here, simply the bid and ask, you see how you have two prices? Now, in the middle bit is what your broker makes for commissions. So when you are going to enter a pair, let's say like Euro JPY, your spread might be 5 pips. So whatever you do, let's say you do £10 per pip, you're automatically down £50. So it's very important to try and look out for the spreads, especially around important news, because it's a great time for brokers to look at the retail market and think, okay, there's a lot of movement that's going to happen right now. Let's widen the spread up, and this could even sometimes go to 7, 8 pips. But most likely on the majors, it will stay relatively safe. The other thing you must know between the difference of the majors and minors is the ADR, the average daily range, which I touched on just a few minutes ago. Let's say Euro USD. Because it's the most popular traded pair, again, bulls and bears, your average movement on a day-to-day basis can be somewhere between 60 to, let's say, 100 pips. And this data is from around about a year and a half or 2 years ago. Now, you could have GBP USD, which has a little more movement, let's say 80 to 110 pips per day. But taking a minor pair or a cross pair, Euro NZD, this could have anywhere from 110 to 130 pips. So when you are placing your trade and you're getting very frustrated, you could be trading any of these and you're hoping to get 150, a 200 pip target, that might take up to 3 to 4 days for that to hit, because you've got to remember, average daily range isn't just in one direction. It's 1 pip up, 1 pip down. All that sideways movement equates to that volume. So with these, sometimes you've got to have a little bit more patience, where with these, sometimes you're going to have a lot more movement going in, which depending on your personality and your risk can be a good and bad thing. So on these, a lot more movement, average daily range, but your spreads are higher. With these, your spreads are lower, but you can expect a little bit less movement because there's a lot more liquidity being pumped through the majors. And that's as simple as it is, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.